Hi, MTSS and PBIS coordinators. We wanted to provide a quick update for you on the NC FAMS release. As you know, in February, we released the North Carolina Facilitated Assessment of MTSS School Level. And the purpose of that tool is to have one tool for schools to use for planning and discussion and implementation for MTSS. And that replaces the SAM and the TFI. And you have access to a Google site where we're housing all of the resources for the FAMS. And our purpose of the webinar today is to give you a few updates around what it looks like to facilitate that conversation of the FAMS, as well as we are ready to release the web scoring application. And you can see we have a new website here for you to use for the scoring application. So we'll actually visit that a little bit later in our time together. So we're going to answer a few questions today that we've been getting since the release of the FAMS. Some of those questions are, what does it really mean to have a facilitated administration? What are the logistics of that? And then how do I actually score the FAMS? So we'll be getting to all those topics today. So as many of you may remember from the SAM, we recommend a time frame of April and June each year for a facilitated administration of the school level implementation tool. And what we mean by facilitated administration is that there is someone external to the school team to help guide the discussion, to help teams come to consensus on scoring items, to ask probing questions, and help teams problem solve. And the training of those facilitators really is up to each district MTSS team. We recommend that facilitators be really familiar with the content of the FAMS, each item, each rubric, have some experience discussing what that means at the district level and unpacking the content. We've also had a few questions about, well, what are the logistics or examples of a facilitated administration? So I just wanted to give you a couple examples of how districts across the state have actually tackled administering the the FAM to many different schools. So we have a couple situations across the state where MTSS coordinators and other district team members serve as facilitators, and they actually go visit each school team to administer the FAMS. And those coordinators lots of times really like to have that time in the spring where they actually visit each school team to see the work that the school has done during the year and to provide that time just to get some contact and feedback and help with planning. So I know some coordinators, MTSS coordinators, who prefer to do all those interviews, those on their own, or some of them that share that with other district team members. Also, some districts that we work with across the state will have district team members pair up to facilitate the FAMS. So they'll actually go in teams of 2 to visit school teams. Another way that we've seen the FAMS be facilitated quite well is for school teams to come together at a central time and location for the FAMS. So in this situation, the district MTSS coordinator may be the facilitator of a larger session and may use that as an opportunity to provide some professional development, may unpack the 6 critical components, and then walk through the items in the FAMS, and then have school teams there, multiple school teams, work through the items there on site. And the way this works best is if you have lots of members of your district MTSS team who can support the school teams by walking around, seeing if they need help, answering questions, clarifying any items. And that seems to work well also. But for either method that you choose, it's just important to continue to consider what's going to happen before, during, and after the FAMS. So let's review that quickly. Before the administration of the FAMS, facilitators should have that working knowledge of the document, each item, possess the skills to guide the discussion and help teams come to consensus. And also, which is very important, is for school teams to see the FAMS ahead of time, that they would have access to the PDF document. They'd have opportunity to review and reflect on each item personally, maybe even jot some notes about how they might score the school team on those items. that opportunity for the school team to review the FAMS before the district facilitator comes in really allows the guided conversation to happen much more quickly and efficiently at the school level. So during the administration of the FAMS, you have a couple items that happen there. So the facilitator is going to ask questions, guide that discussion, assist the team in coming to some consensus scoring. And then the facilitator is going to actually record the scores for the school team. So there are a couple of ways to do that. They can score the FAMS live via the web application. We're going to visit that in just a second. Or they can record the scores paper pencil and transfer them at a later time. So if you've had a chance to see the FAMS, you may be familiar with the very last page is a short document that you can use to actually just record the scores of each items as the team's working through it. So we have districts across the state who prefer both of those, and those are both fine options, to score it live and have the reports right there, or to sit and be active in the team conversation and just jot things down paper, pencil, and then work on the scoring later. And then after the administration, we would just want to make sure that we share the results with school teams and that we use those for school and district planning. So let's take a look at some notes about the web application. So it is just that. It's a web-based tool to administer and score the FAMS. It'll give you some access to some school and district results. Only staff who are facilitating the FAMS need an account with the web application. School staff, school teams do not need an account. Really, the sole purpose is just for the scoring for the facilitator. And NCID is required to access the web application. So if you need access to that, we have a link to help you get one of those. And if you have an existing account in the SAM web application, that account is still active. And if you don't know if you have an account, you can actually click on this link and I'll show you where to find these slides. And you can check here to see if you have an account. So let's see what that would look like. So here I just checked myself and you can see I do have one. But you can enter your email address. So there's mine, and it's going to say, yes, I do have an account, and it'll give me my account username. And then another thing that's going to come up is that you're probably going to want additional team members, additional district MTSS team members to have accounts so they can help with the FAMS administration. So your regional consultant is going to have a list of all active accounts for your district. And then over the next couple weeks, what you might want to do is decide, well, which of your district team members would be facilitating the FAMS, and if they need to create additional accounts in that web application, you can go ahead and get that started before it's time to actually facilitate the FAMS. So let's take a look at how to actually do that. So on the FAMS Google site now, you're familiar with the home button and the information for implementers. We have a new tab here that's all about the web application. So the web application is going to give you the site to go to the web app. We'll take a look at that in a minute. A little description, and it'll actually have the slides here that we've used during this webinar. So if you need to check and see if you have an active account, you can click straight on that. And then if you want to create accounts, you can click here on this link, but that's also the documents right here for you. And you may recognize this document, but basically it'll just guide you through the steps of how to create a new account in the FAMS web app. So it'll prompt you to navigate to the web application, select that you have a valid NCID account, and then actually prompt you through the steps to log in, select your role, and then at that time you'll wait for one of our state MTSS team members to approve that request. So that's why it's important to do ahead of time before administering the FAM. Then we also have a document here that's going to walk you through actually how to administer the FAMS via the web application. So these steps and screenshots are there, but I thought you might want to just see it live really quickly. So here is the web application. You see I've selected I have a valid NCID account. I've entered my username and my password, and I would just choose login to the FAMS. And then what I'm going to see is the text of the cover page, and I can start the FAMS by this button, or I can choose FAMS in the top right-hand part of the screen. I'll choose my school year, my LEA or charter, and then the school. And then I'm brought to a screen where I can record my name as the district facilitator, the team members present, and then I can actually go into each item, see the item, any notes, any supporting evidence, and actually click in and score those items as the team has the conversation. Once you've scored those items, they'll turn green. And at the very end, when you've finished all the items, you'll get a new button down here that'll say sign off. And completing that last step is how you've actually known that you've completed and finalized your scoring. And notes about the finalizing of the scoring is right here. So you'll administer that final item, you'll go to the bottom of the screen and select sign off. And once you've done that, you can't change any scores. So you might want to just review your scoring before then, before you click on that sign off item. And just a few other things that you might be of interest to you. So in April, we'll do some support sessions that are focused on unpacking the FAMS items and facilitating that discussion with school teams. So look for information about that. And then also some resources that will be available soon is we'll have an updated crosswalk of FAMS items to NC STAR indicators. And then also very soon what we will have for you is updated use of reports from the FAMS web application at the school and district level. So we are grateful for you to be getting comfortable with the FAMS and look forward to all of us using it statewide this spring.